unboxing, and I did try to record it, but I screwed up. My card was full, and it sucked everything up. Now I'm just gonna pick this up. I've just come back from the range where I tested out 6.5 Creed loads that I made up. Yeah, that was a disaster, and essentially because I've got a Lee die set, and yeah, if you want accurate hand loads, don't use the Lee, because the tolerances are just so crap. You know, like, yeah, and the actual stem, the actual piece that hits the ogive, the top of the round, the projectile, completely the wrong geometry, and it was actually damaging the projectiles. It wasn't damaging the, because I had 50 rounds of Hornady 140 grain SSTs. The ogive on that was such that the stem on that Lee seating die left a little bit of a mark, not too bad, but yeah, the Lee dies, the tolerances are shit. I also had 50 rounds of, and that was the SSTs and 143 grain Hornady ELDXs both had 41 grains of AR2209, which is hydrogen 4350 or whatever it is, whatever everyone loves using the 6.5 Creed. And then I had a hot load, 50 rounds of 42 grains of AR2209, hydrogen 4350, whatever, and Magnum primers, and they were hot. Yeah, the primers were flattening out. None of them popped, none of them came loose or anything, but yeah, they were flattening. There was a little bit of cratering with the firing pin. Now, that ammunition I made was just junk. I just persisted with it. I was using the comparator, but it was all over the place. Yeah. So I've actually got a Reading die set. I would like to have a Forster seating die, but you can't get one of those for love or money at the moment. Just no one's got it. Now, this bipod that I was using is a piece of junk. It's really, it feels solid and feels really well made, but and that's for the rocking. I've got that done up as hard as I can, right? So that is not moving, but this, I don't know if you can see that it's just how I'm gonna have to try and take it apart and see what the hell's going on, but that is just, yeah, it was moving around and did not help, so I don't have a lot of time for that thing. Now, the main reason for the video is this, and what this is the Steyr Mannlicher Pro Hunter, made in Austria. It's got a typical 3-lug fat bolt. Is it 3-lug? Let me have a look. No, it's only 2 lugs. It's a fat bolt, so the lugs don't exceed the diameter of the actual bolt. I've had to oil it up because it was bone dry. I reckon this was probably their last one I think it was the last one they had. It's quite an interesting looking rifle. I've always been fascinated by Steyr Mannlicher. I remember back in the 80s, when, even before I joined the army, in reading in one particular magazine that was really looked down upon these days, you know, Soldier of Fortune, they featured the Steyr SSG, Steyr Mannlicher SSG sniper rifle, and like they were raving about that. And this is definitely yeah, like that bolt handle, you know, it's quite distinctive. So safety's on, safety off, and it's got a 2-stage trigger. It's a Steyr Mannlicher Pro Hunter. This one's in 270. It's got a 2-stage trigger. The take up on the first stage is really light, but you know, perceivable, and you've got about 3 I reckon about 3 pound trigger. It's a cock on close. Yeah, I reckon about maybe just over 3 pounds, which for a hunting rifle is really good. I never used to like two-stage triggers, but I actually do like two-stage trigger for hunting rifles. It just doesn't, you know, it doesn't just go bang, just break. The safety setup is interesting. It is like a rocker, like a dial. So if you cock it, you can put it on safe. I don't think you can put it on safe if it's not cocked. Let me see. No. You got to cock it to put it on safe, which I don't know, some people might think. And when it's on safe, trigger doesn't go, but you can cycle it. So it's essentially a two position safety, and when it's in safe you can cycle it but not fire it, which is pretty good. And then to remove the bolt, you actually got to break the bolt, and you'll see this little knob come up, this grey knob, and the bolt just comes straight out. And yeah, so get it back in. The stock is extremely rigid. In the fore end there is more webbing, you know, cross bracing in there than I've seen on any other synthetic stock. It does not sound like, it sounds solid throughout. You know, this is probably the best for a hunting rifle anyway, synthetic stock like that comes standard on a hunting rifle that I've seen. The trigger guard, not I'm totally impressed with, but the trigger guard is integral to the stock. I don't know, Savage Axis or whoever, or yeah. But this stock, it just feels like solid, like it's you know, it's not going anywhere. And if you know anything about Steyr Mannlicher, they do not machine off the hammer forging marks off their barrels, so you got that spiral effect on their barrels, which they've always done, as far as I know, since they've started hammer forging. And that distinctive bolt handle, it's very distinctive. It is super smooth. Like, I did have to oil it up because it was totally dry, but you know. And you know, you can do that with a lot of rifles, but then the bolt's like the playing it. Whereas this, very probably, I don't know, right at the end you can probably calculate about, I reckon probably a millimetre and a half sideways. Sideways is probably maybe maximum 2 mil, probably 1.5 mil. Really precise machining. The ejection port is quite sparse. It's going to be, I don't have any snap caps, 270 snap caps. It's a really beefy receiver, I have to say. I'm quite impressed. Like, yeah, I was expecting good stuff, but it only cost $900. 100? Where's the paperwork? There it is. There's the paperwork. What did it cost me? What did they sting me? Advertising. They stung me. No. 800. $7.99. So the rifle was $7.99. $49 freight. Yeah. So $848 delivered to my door. So that's really good. Here in Queensland we can actually get firearms delivered to the buyer. It doesn't have to be delivered to a dealer or a police station or any of that malarkey for you poor fellows in the other states. Here in Queensland, Australia Post just delivers it. And yeah, that bolt is silky. That's a Steyr Mannlicher, alright. And that trigger, I reckon about maximum 3.5 pounds. I have got mounts for it, and I have got a scope for it, so I can't wait. The only real, and it's fully floated. I mean, that's a bit of right in the rain paper. So the actual where the barrel is in the stock is pretty good. It's a lot better than some that I've seen, and it is fully floated all the way to the receiver. You see that totally all the way to the receiver. So yeah, I can't. It takes browning mounts. Supposed to anyway. I'm still going to find out if the mounts that I bought fit on it. But yeah, like I was saying, the only beef that I have is that this recoil, because 270 does kick a fair bit. Yeah, I've got a 3006 and a 270, and the 3006 is actually a bit easier to shoot for whatever reason, I don't know. But this butt pad, it's not a pad. I'm telling you, there's no giving it at all. It's hard as. Now, one thing I didn't point out is the magazine. So it's a polymer 4-round magazine. It's extremely light. Seems to work very well. There's no sticking in there, like with some polymer magazines that come with rifles. They get all sticky and whatnot. So that's, and it goes in really easily. Comes out. Comes out really easily. Goes in really easily. So that's one of the issues with a lot of proprietary magazines, is that they're really pieces of shit. The trigger does have 2 adjustment screws, but and it's got that security goop over the screws. I'm not going to muck around with this trigger because it's quite nice. Yeah, nice take up. Bang. That's a spot on hunting trigger. And Steyr Mannlicher, yes. I'm really impressed with this stock. Hear that? Pretty much every other synthetic stock that I've ever had, if you do that, it's, yeah, it sounds like you're knocking on a coconut, just completely hollow. Whereas this, I'm really impressed with the design, with how well it's manufactured. This is like typically, if I was to do this really hard on just about any other rifle, well, except for the really expensive good ones, I would be slicing my finger. There are no sharp edges on this, and I mean none. Let me see if has the bolt, any sharp edges on the bolt. As in dags, as in burrs. The edges are square. Everything's square but not burred, and that is so. There's no burrs. Like the bolt shroud is plastic. I just noticed. I didn't realise that. It's not a biggie, you know. It is. I don't know how many pieces this thing is. I think it's. Yeah, I don't know if the bolt handle is. The bolt handle looks like it's. Yeah, the bolt handle and the bolt are one piece. Look like they're a one piece. Yeah, forged unit. Okay, that's nice. There's nothing like Remingtons where the bolt handle is brazed on. It's really easy to get in. Get it on safe, nothing, fire, bang. I love this rifle already. You know, if this is, pardon me, Steyr Mannlicher has a very reputation. Oh, pardon me, been a long day, for making really good rifles, really good accurate rifles, and yeah, I can't wait to shoot this thing. Let me have a. I reckon this thing's probably been sitting around for a very long time. I'm just gonna. I haven't even had a look down the barrel. Let's have a look at this thing. Let's have a look at it. Oh, okay. That looks. Wow. That looks schmick. Schmick means really good. That, my friends, is a really nice looking barrel. As far as barrels go, yeah, I'm impressed. I was expecting it to be full of crap and rust. So again, this trigger, yeah, that's a really good hunting trigger, and I'm really impressed with this stock. Like, I mean, really impressed. Oh, that's hard. But this recoil pad, it's going to be painful shooting that off. I think I'll be wearing a pillow. So I can't wait to shoot this thing. I really love it already. I've got ammunition for it. So today's Monday, Friday, I'm straight to the range and I'm going to shoot this and see how she goes. So see ya.